What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here, and what if I told you that there was an upcoming mod for Diablo 2 that grants you the ability to transform into the Cow King? Pretty crazy, right? But today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at some of the coolest rework set items in the upcoming Project Diablo 2 mod. Now, for those that aren't familiar with what Project Diablo 2 is, I got multiple links in the description below, their Reddit, their Discord, as well as their website, so hit them up if you're not familiar with what Project Diablo 2 is. And also, maybe hit up my Twitch channel, link is in the description below. I stream there twice a week. If you guys enjoy my YouTube content, maybe hit me up with a follow there, I'd really appreciate it. But guys, hope you enjoy this video. Let's jump in. So the first set that I want to take a look at is the full Tal Rasha set. Now, this is actually one of my favorite sets to use in vanilla D2. I think it's really overlooked. A lot of people just like to run 3-piece Tals because of the MF bonus, but there's a lot of really nice kind of additional bonuses like FHR, plus res, minus enemy monster resistance, or plus cold damage when you equip the full set. And then we're just going to take a look at what is changed in Project Diablo 2. And the first thing here is that the 3-piece set has reduced percent magic find 65. It's reduced to 40. I think kind of reasoning behind this is to just try and shift away from everybody using 3-piece Tals for magic finding characters. And I think with some of the modified items like the changes that were made to Oculus, I don't think we're going to see too many 3-piece Tal set characters in PD2. I mean, that's kind of a good thing because typically all hardcore MF sorceress sets are usually running 3-piece Tals, so I think it's a nice change. Not too much has changed on the belt as well. It used to have a static roll of 30 to mana and then 10 to 15 MF. Now that MF has been increased to roll 10 to 20, and then the mana has changed to roll from 20 to 40. Again, kind of that theme in Project Diablo 2 of just varying stats, kind of hunting for trying to get that better piece always just gives you a reason to kind of keep identifying those items instead of just, you know, once you get a 15 MF Tals belt, you're kind of done. Now, the helmet has varying mana and life leech stat rolls, so instead of rolling a flat 10 for both, they now roll 6 to 10, again the theme of varying stats. And then the 15 all res has been changed from 10 to 20, and mana has been changed from 25 to 35, and then life again is changed from 50 to 65. Kind of makes me think it's maybe even a more powerful mercenary helmet, I guess, if you get 10 life leech and 20 all res. And again, just kind of those varying life stats and mana, trying to keep hunting for that better item. Now, the chest piece has had a few significant changes. Well, I guess one, and then one's kind of significant. The magic damage reduce has been changed from 15 to 10 to 17, and the 88% MF has been changed to roll 60 to 100. And then the final change here is that the amulet, instead of rolling 42 mana static, it's 32 to 52, and then the life rolls from 40 to 60. Again, sounding like a broken record, just varying stats. One key point to note here, though, is that the full Tal set gives you an additional 25% MF. Now, the reasoning behind that, I guess, from according to Senpai, is that the extra 25% from the full set makes up for the lack of that 3-piece Tal set. So I think it's just trying to push away from that meta of using the 3-piece Tal set, but still making a full 5-piece Tal set very viable. The next set that I want to take a look at is the full IK set. Now, I've honestly never really run this outside of just kind of maybe for fun, a budget barbarian, but there's been quite a few changes made that will actually, from what it looks like initially, make the full IK barb viable all the way through to late endgame. So starting off with the Maul, he added a varying enhanced damage and then damage to demons and the undead. It now rolls 150 to 250 for all of them, instead of before it was just a flat 200 ED, flat 200 ED to demons, and then 250 to undead. So now we just have a varying roll of 145 to 250. I changed the IS from 40 to 45%. Now, I guess the reasoning behind this is it allows you to hit a higher breakpoint when you're shape-shifting. So I'm thinking maybe just theory crafting on the top of my head, maybe taking this Maul, corrupting it for open sockets, and then putting like Ruby Jewels of Fervor or Ohm Runes or Low Runes or something, or maybe Jaw Rune for ignore target defense, or some kind of crazy hybrid werewolf barb, or maybe werewolf druid using the IK Maul. Something crazy like that is kind of what I'm thinking here, the reasoning behind changing the IS. And the 5-piece set has had the poison damage increased from 204 poison damage over 6 seconds to it's now 682 over 2 seconds. For the IK boots, they changed the flat defense from 75 to 50 to 85, and then the 110 flat attack rating is now a varying roll of 90 to 140, and the varying life is, instead of it being a flat 44, it's now 38 to 54. Now, the belt is kind of the same idea, varying stats on the defense, the lightning resistance, fire resistance, as well as the strength. They're all just kind of little varying stats, nothing too crazy change there. The gauntlets have had their defense, again, added a varying stat defense. Instead of flat 65, it's 45 to 90, and is now a 12% chance to cast level 24 charged bolt instead of level 4. I'm not sure how much of a difference that's actually going to make late game. Maybe like early hell, maybe proccing level 24 charge bolt, but I just think it's maybe kind of like a style points looking thing. You're just going to be shooting more bolts all over the place just for looks. I don't think damage wise it's really going to do anything. And then for the IK chest piece, a varying defense roll, so 300 to 500 instead of 400. A 5% chance to cast level 5 enchant has now been changed to level 28. That'd be a big difference in the duration as well as the total amount of attack rating. The amount of fire damage won't really make too much of a difference. And then the poison res is changed from 40 to 60 instead of a flat 50%. And the final piece here is the IK helmet. So they added a varying gold fine roll, 37 to 67 instead of the flat 37. And they added 8% physical damage reduction for a 3-piece set bonus. So it makes me think that maybe with like a 4-wood socket body armor and then corrupted maul, you could have like a viable IK set all the way through to the end. Or maybe like a really cool werewolf druid just using the maul that actually has like 4 open sockets or something. Just a lot of possibilities, and hopefully we can see the IK viable all the way through to late endgame and PD2. The next set here is full Trangs. Now I have honestly never run this set ever, just because the FCR breakpoints are absolutely horrible in vampire form. But again, that has been addressed in PD2, along with some other aspects of the Trang set. Like, don't think you're going to be seeing too many single Trangs gloves anymore. So what do they change? Well, first up, you are no longer a vampire. You're just a necro with the regular glow like you would have on like a full Tals or full IK set. The plus 25% poison damage on the gloves has been reduced from 10 to 15. Now, before you freak out, poison skills apparently have a lot stronger buffed damage. So the idea is buffing poison damage skills so they're more viable, and then reducing the damage on Trang's gloves so you don't see every rabies druid or every poison necro rocking those gloves, just because that's all that you ever do in vanilla D2, because the plus 25% poison damage is just too good to ignore. So the idea is kind of pushing away from that. And then the 4-piece set now grants you a level plus 20 Meteor. And if you guys have seen some of the footage on Meteor, it has no casting delay, so maybe we're going to see a lot of Necros running around dropping Meteors everywhere. Not a lot has changed on the belt, just a varying stat on the replenished life. Instead of being a flat 5, it's 10 to 20. And then the plus life is now 56 to 76 instead of a flat 66. Trang's chest or the body armor grants +1 or +2 varying skills to Blood Warp. Now, Blood Warp is basically, according to Senpai, is just a new Necromancer teleporting skill that costs you health as you teleport. So more investments into this skill. It reduces the cooldown on teleport, but every time you use it, you're losing health. So I think it's kind of aimed at being a repositioning skill, just to kind of move your summons around instead of being like a spam teleport like you would in Vanilla D2. And then for the helmet, the +5 life replenish has been increased from a varying stat of 20 to 30. Attackers take increased damage of 420 to 620. So I guess the idea behind this is it being a decent helmet for a mercenary early on if you're doing solo self-found, or that's just basically taken from Idswords directly. And then the 4-piece set now grants you an additional 30% FCR. And then the 15 to dexterity has been changed from 10 to 18. And then the 25 to strength has been again changed from 20 to 28. Now the full piece here, there's a couple other additional bonuses. Like they added, there's Fire Mastery. They increased the level of Firewall. They increased the level of Fireball. So Fireball is now 28 instead of 18, Firewall is 26 instead of 13, and then Mastery is +6 instead of +3. So I think that maybe the idea here is to have like a summon army and then have decent viable fire skills to go with it. It's obviously not going to be on the same level as a fully decked out meter sorceress, but it should be kind of interesting to see full Trangs in action. Not a lot was honestly changed to the overall Aldur set. Don't really know why it wasn't buffed or kind of reduced or nerfed. They did, however, remove the sockets from the helmet. Now again, with corruption, you can add sockets, but it now rolls 1 to 2 to druid skills and then 1 to 2 summon skills. So I guess you could get like possibly +4 to your bear from this helmet, making it probably a little bit more useful. And then say you corrupt it, get, you know, additional sockets on top of it. The chest piece now rolls 1 to 2 elemental and 1 to 2 shapeshifting instead of the original 1 to flat. And then when you have the 2-piece set together, you get an additional 10% FCR. Maybe with like corruption and then these additional FCR bonuses, maybe full Aldurs with kind of like a fire druid might be pretty viable. Now for the mace, it's had its enhanced damage buffed a little bit. The ED to demons has been increased. Instead of it just being 200, it's now 200 to 250. Then the damage to undead is 100 to 200. The increased attack speed has been buffed a little bit. It's now, instead of 30, it's 45. Again, reasoning behind this is for hitting specific breakpoints while you're shapeshifting. And then the sockets has changed from 2 to 3. It's now 1 to 3. So again, the 3-piece Aldur set has +30 to FCR. So I think the idea here is trying to make Aldurs viable for both kind of an elemental build. Again, that's why we're adding FCR, but also shape-shifting at the same time. And then finally, the additional bonuses from the entire 4-piece set is unchanged, as well as the boots are identical as well. The boots are always amazing. I mean, the varying fire res and the plus life, which is buffed by like Oak Sage and stuff, they're just really solid single boots on their own, so maybe that's why they were just left alone. So yeah, overall, I do like the changes to Aldurs. I don't think a lot was changed, but if you keep in mind like the possibility of corruption and adding sockets in the helmet or the body armor, as well as kind of your shapeshifting and your FCR bonuses, maybe the idea is kind of like a hybrid build or just shapeshifting and using elemental at the same time. So there might be a couple more possibilities opened up with some of these changes that were made to Aldurs. The next set to take a look at here is Mavina's. Now it looks like the damage has been buffed quite a bit, and let's be honest, the Bozon needs that from vanilla. So starting off with the bow, the ED has been jumped up from 188 and now rolls a varying roll of 230 to 288, so that's quite a big damage buff. Attack rating has been upped from 50, it now rolls 50 to 150, and the 2-piece set has a lot of additional magic damage. So originally it was 114 to 377, it's now 228 to 754, with a 10% chance to cast level 15 Nova that has now been changed to a level 25 Nova. I'm not sure the damage numbers of what a level 25 Nova is to level 15. I'm going to assume that it's more of kind of like a style points thing, but time will tell. The belt just has a varying mana leech roll. Instead of it being a flat 5, it's 3 to 6. Nothing too crazy there. Now, the gloves, instead of rolling flat 10 strength, they now roll 8 to 12. Same with dexterity. Instead of a flat 15, it's now 10 to 20. Cold damage has been buffed a little bit, and the half freeze duration has been replaced to it cannot be frozen. So that's kind of cool, freeing up the obligation to use like a Ravenfrost ring or something else. That's kind of interesting. But the full set has had reduced cold damage from 20%. It's been reduced down to 15. And then finally, Mavina's diadem has had a few minor tweaks to the replenished life and the plus mana. Nothing really crazy there, just varying stat rolls. The full set now has a plus 15% fire damage bonus, and the plus 3 to Amazon skills has been reduced to 2 to kind of compensate for the plus 1 to 2 Amazon skills that is already on the body armor. That's kind of cool, adding additional fire damage, because maybe the idea here is sort of shifting away Mavina's being a really good cold Bozon approach in vanilla LOD to kind of maybe being better for fire. So it'll be kind of interesting to see once we get a better idea of the damage in the skill tree and how these kind of changes will affect Bozon gameplay. The final class-specific set that I'm going to go over is the full GrisWold set. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anything or any information on the Nats class set because those pictures haven't been kind of teased yet. But the weapon for the Grizz Caddy has had the varying sockets reduced. Instead of being 3 to 4, it's now 2 to 3. Again, this is because apparently socketable items, well, not apparently, it's just socketable items can be corrupted to add additional sockets. So I'm assuming that if you get 2 open socket Grizz Caddy, that you can corrupt it again to try and get 4 open sockets. The helmet has had the all resistances increased. Instead of it being a flat 5, it's now 15 to 25. And the sockets on the helmet have changed. Instead of it being 2, it's now 2 to 3. I mean, that's kind of cool. 3 open socket Corona helmet. The Grizz armor and the Grizz shield kind of follow along that same theme of that varying 2 to 3 sockets. And there is also 35 FCR and variable resistance on the shield. So again, that kind of that theme of 2 to 3 and then potential to corrupt to get even more sockets. And then adding FCR, maybe kind of making the Paladin geared a little bit more towards kind of like casting spells while also splitting like a good balance between physical damage. So just similar to the Aldur set, kind of going both ways of maybe being a caster or melee, depending on your take. Makes me kind of wonder if like Fist of Heavens, if its damage has been buffed, adding that kind of like additional plus FCR. So say maybe like a caster amulet, you know, caster rings or something, and just adding that additional FCR for maybe hitting like certain breakpoints and casting Holy Bolt all over the place. But yeah, that's basically everything that I can show off for the full Grizz set. And then the last thing that I just want to kind of go over here is this little sneak peek that was posted at 9 a.m. this morning. Well, technically yesterday, because this video was made a day later. All it is a picture of the Cow King, and it says Moo ? So relating back to what I said earlier at the start of this video, I'm just going to go on a limb here and assume that if you use the full Cow King set, that you now have the ability to transform into the Cow King. Is it going to be viable? Is it more of just a meme? I'm going to guess it's probably kind of like a meme thing for fun. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that kind of speculating, putting the 2 and 2 together, that I think we're going to be able to shapeshift into the Cow King in Project Diablo 2. Well guys, there you have it. That wraps up everything they wanted to cover for some of the coolest class-specific set changes in Project Diablo 2. Again, kind of a lot of themes of sort of reducing some of the meta stuff and then adding varying stats to everything that rolls. So always kind of hunting for that better item is, I think, the kind of idea or theme behind a lot of these changes. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys like what you see, you don't like, or maybe you would tweak something differently, because again, I've mentioned this before, the creator of this mod does watch these videos and he does listen to feedback. So just let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. And as always, if you guys could throw a like on this video, share it, and even consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. I post new weekly content on YouTube and I stream twice a week on Twitch. So a follow on Twitch and a sub on YouTube would be amazing. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fan-frickin-tastic day, and I'll catch y'all in my next video or live stream. Peace out.